spawning right now. Vendog.
3, 2, 1.
Access granted.
Vendog Radio Live starts right now.
Living in the Last Days Prophecy Conference, it has been some weekend, Brother John.
For me, it's been sneezing in the last days. Yeah,
It has.
My nose and Las Vegas apparently don't see eye to eye. I think I mixed too many metaphors there.
Yeah, oh man. But I'll tell you this much. I'm trying to get you to reclaim your time because here's the ultimate question. What did you not get a chance to cover on Turkey?
Oh man, I mean, I've been sort of gathering stuff on Turkey for a very, very long time, and there's a lot of so now it's to the point I've talked about Turkey enough. I don't remember what I don't talk about from time to time. So I covered the basics today, but I think Turkey is the Magog. It's the lead person in these attacks. Magog, Meshach, Tubal, Gomer. Mm-hmm. Those are all regions. Jovan. Those are all regions in Turkey, and so I think that it's one of the most important nations in end-time Bible prophecy, and that seems to be playing out quite a bit with Erdogan and the way he's been acting, and you know we're at that stage of Bible prophecy too, where this is going to take a number of years for everything to unfold, and so we don't know. Sometimes you got to stop wondering, okay, is this person going to make it all the way through those years? Mm-hmm. And so Erdogan's 72, as am I. He's 2 days younger than I am. So,
but doesn't look as well as you do.
I hope that he will always be younger than me.
Yeah.
But I would also say is that you hope that he, I don't think he's holding up as well. He's looked a little ill lately. Mm-hmm. And I just think that oppressing your people takes a toll on you. Yeah. I don't have anybody to oppress, you know. I don't even have a dog to tell what to do.
So you and I have had this conversation, and you seem to believe that it's going to be Turkey more than Russia.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not totally discounting Russia. First of all, in Ezekiel 38:39, it says that these nations come. Well, I don't think that Ezekiel saw nations. I think Ezekiel saw regions. Mm-hmm. So he used language to describe the regions from which these people would come. So Persia is a region, and it just so happens that now all of these regions are Islamic. So I think that I don't know that it's accurate to say that Turkey's not mentioned in Bible prophecy. The region in which Turkey is located is mentioned as very prominent in this, and I just don't think Russia is. But it also says that and many peoples with them, and that's unidentified. So it's not just going to be those nations. I think those nations will be the lead nations in what's coming, but not that they're the only ones. So Russia could be involved. And I think, you could make a case for, so let me give you the case for Russia. So in Moscow yesterday, Russia had massive protests or demonstrations at the end of the Islamic holiday, EID. Actually, I happened to be in Jordan during EID in 1995, which was a very interesting experience I can tell you about. But they had hundreds of thousands of Muslims on the streets in Moscow. Moscow is probably 25% Muslim.
Wow.
And we always talk about the 10% threshold. Well, they're at 25%.
Good job. You didn't take any prisoners either.
Yeah.
Kills them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
That's okay. Thanks. I always like people shouting compliments when I'm live.
yeah. Always a good heckler, right?
Where are the other people I paid to come by? They haven't showed up yet.
No. The other hecklers haven't shown up yet. So you were saying about in the 90s with Russia.
So Russia has this massive Islamic problem. There were some articles, and I'll be honest with you, I looked for them the other day and couldn't find them, but there were articles in Foreign Policy magazine or Foreign Affairs 10 years ago, 11 years ago, talking about Moscow's Islamic problem.
Mm-hmm.
That was 11 years ago. And there's been a lot of people analyzing things from a demographic standpoint. And there's a lot of concern or thought that, and I think this is going to accelerate with the number of people lost in the Ukrainian war that are ethnic Russians, that by 2030, close to half of the Russian army will be Muslim anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you could foresee a case where, or a situation where Russia would want to sort of make themselves acceptable to Islam without becoming Islamic, so that they would say, okay, listen, you Central Asian stand republics, we'll help you out invade Israel if you leave us alone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a deal that they would cut. And Russia would take that deal in a heartbeat. One thing I forgot to talk about too is the expansion of Turkey. So Turkey, there was a good article, a friend of mine, Melissa, who's here at the conference from Orange County, not from Orange County, from Central Valley in California, who sent me an article out of a thing called newspaper called the Eurasian Times. It was probably 3 months ago now, back in December. The title of the article was Russia controls the passports, but Turkey's really in charge. So what the article said was that Turkey has been sort of cobbling together a tribal ethnic coalition for itself among the Central Asian stand republics, which identify as Turkish. Even though they have Russian passports still, their people are really leaning Turkey. In fact, I did share it this morning. There's actually a poll that was done of Erdogan. Excuse me, this is Las Vegas allergies.
Yeah, they do kick in once in a while.
Man, I never sneezed so much in my life. That an Arab poll done by a well-known Arab center found that the person most respected in the Arab world that was Islamic was Erdogan. So that's kind of an interesting development, that Arabs support the Turks, because Turks aren't Arabs, they're Muslim. And there's a very strong tribal identification in the Muslim world, and that includes Turkey, that includes Iran, which is Shia, that also includes the South. They're all very tribal. So about a year ago, I started seeing articles that I was reviewing that Turkey had started to change their textbooks on geography. And so the Central Asian stand republics, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, were not to be referred to anymore as Central Asia. The textbooks in Turkey now refer to them as Turkestan because they're an ethnic tribe. And so in the Islamic world, tribal affiliation probably exceeds religious affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you go. I mean, the article in the Eurasian Times also made a point of pointing out that there is Turkey had entered into some peace arrangements with Azerbaijan, which is on the Caspian Sea, which has been named in this war in Iran in the last couple of days. That Azerbaijan and Turkey, they refer to themselves as two nations, one sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
We're united as Turkmen and Muslims. And that's kind of interesting too. So that it sort of shows how the ethnic tribal identification really is important in that part of the world.
Mm. Yeah, I can kind of see something like that because now I believe Syria is Turkey. Is that what it is right now?
Syria is effectively controlled by Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago in December, and Trump was saying Turkey had done something that they've been trying to do for 1,000 years, and that was to recapture Damascus.
Right.
So there was a very largest Islamic dynasty, caliphate in history was centered in capital, religious and political, was Damascus.
Right.
And so when Syria fell to the jihadis back in December of 2024, I'm trying to think what I want to say. So that was a Turkey operation all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and for the first time in over 1,000 years, Sunni Islam is in control of Damascus, and that's a I think one commentator I follow, David Wormser at the Mizgov Institute, he said that was a geopolitical and religious earthquake a year ago December. And Turkey's only expanded their region since then. And other commentators I follow, they say there is no Syria, it's really Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting when al-Jilani, known as al-Shara, the jihadi dictator of Syria, came to the White House in November of last year.
Right.
There with him in these meetings was the foreign minister of Turkey, Hakan Fidan, who himself has a very expansionist view of Turkey. So one of the things I didn't talk about, Turkey also has a thing that they call their, I can't remember the Turkish term, it's called Blue Homeland, their Blue Homeland doctrine, which is to develop and force influence in regions of the Black Sea, the Aegean Sea, and the Eastern Mediterranean by making these deals and everything, that they have these exclusive economic zones that go from Turkey to Libya and that sort of thing. And they're done to block Israel's pipelines through the Mediterranean. Now, I don't know if they would be able to do it, but the fact of the matter is they've tried. Turkey wants to be an energy power in the world. So Turkey has moved in so remember, Israel recognized a section of Somalia called Somaliland as a nation. Turkey opposes that with every fiber of its being, and Turkey has gas drilling ships now off the coast of Somalia to try to interrupt that, to try to maintain its influence. So it's a very fluid situation.
Yeah.
It's funny, I'm talking about the water doctrine of Turkey, and I said it's a very fluid situation. So
Mm.
unintentional pun there. I hope I'm not penalized for that.
No, I don't think you're going to be penalized for that.
So
Yeah, it's you know what, the Middle East is really becoming more interesting day by day right now. It's insane, but
it is pretty intense.
hmm yeah, I don't think Erdogan's going to be around very long, to be honest with you.
No, he didn't look well. He did have sort of cancer of the backside, is the delicate way to describe it, a number of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's a radical Islamist. I mean, he's been to Mecca. His son seems to be being groomed to take over, but the foreign minister is also pushing his influence.
Mm-hmm.
And they're running around now acting like, oh, we just want to be the people of peace here in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think Erdogan is biding his time for when he can move forward. And if he's part of Ezekiel 38, 39, or Turkey is, then we kind of know how that's going to happen.
Mm. So let me ask you this. So I was listening to a video you played this morning from our good friend, Mr. Qatar himself, that wants to buy a condo.
Qatar also.
Yes, Mr. Qatar. Man, he's gone. He's really gone. He's way far gone. And what you played this morning solidified everything that we say about this guy.
Yeah, so he interviewed. There's this guy that I've never heard of this guy, and I've looked into him, and he's a total fake Chinese Communist Party operation, propagandist, whatever. And they're acting like he's this great expert on geopolitics, and nobody's ever heard of him. And he's some flunky teacher at a non-prestigious college. So Tucker Carlson, of course, that's the kind of guy Tucker wants to interview because he can make the points. And the Chinese guy was saying, well, what we need to do is we need to have we need to have a new world order led by Russia and China, and the United States needs to step back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that maybe that's the case, but the fact of the matter is that then Tucker says, yes, we need that. We need to have that happen to save global civilization. And then he says, but the one country that is really prohibiting this new world order from coming in is Israel. And it's just like this throwaway anti-Semitic Jews control the world comment that he's become so good at over time. So, I mean, it's a fairly shocking comment that he made.
Right. Wow. Yeah. He just keeps proving us right every moment of the day. It's amazing.
Well, the problem with him is that to respond to him takes a little bit of time. And by the time you respond to him, he's moved on to 20 other problematic statements.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whack-a-mole. I don't know how he does it. Some people are suggesting he does so much content that there's probably Tucker Carlson doubles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And boy, how miserable do you have to be as a person to want to have that job? Pretend to be Tucker Carlson.
Hey, and for any amount of money, you have to be miserable.
And I think to be a person to be a person to do that, to be a fake Tucker Carlson, the first thing you need to do is have a operation to remove your spine and backbone.
Yeah.
I've never seen I've really never seen anything like it. And the way he moves forward with doing this, with these incredible, it's a psyop. It's propaganda, but he's so prolific. It's like he did a 2-hour interview yesterday, and then he does 3 2-hour interviews today, and you can't keep up. And so I I don't know. I might believe that there might be more than one Tucker Carlson.
It's quite the possibility because his dad was a CIA guy.
It could be. I don't think the videos are AI because he has real life guests on, but they're awful. They're just total, complete garbage and nonsense. But he gets away with it.
Yeah, he really does get away with it. And I don't know, when he had Daryl Cooper on his show, that was it for me right there.
Yeah, it's very interesting how he gathers stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are friendlies get lauded over and plenty of opportunity to talk. But if he disagrees with you, you get interrupted and lambasted all the time. So he's very good at controlling the narrative, particularly what might come from people that he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I wonder why would you even bother going on his program if he asks you? Just go debunk him in your own video and forget the interview and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So after the whole Daryl Cooper incident, I'm like, okay, he's really proven himself already to me that he was already against Jewish people. I mean, he says got to get Israel out of the way in order to get the New World Order pushed through. And I'm like, whoa, Tucker, what are you saying here, buddy?
Well, so Daryl Cooper, who, if I recall correctly, Tucker introduced him as the most respected historian in America. And I'm like, I haven't even heard of this guy.
Yeah.
He's a Jew-hating whack job.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, what I saw going on with Tucker predated that a little bit. I believe prior to the Daryl Cooper interview, Tucker interviewed a guy named Munther Isaac, who is a Palestinian, claims to be a Christian Arab from Bethlehem that is extremely anti-Israel to a fault. And so I've met Munther. And so Tucker did this very softball, oh my goodness, you're such an oppressed person. Thank you for taking the time to come and share with us so we can understand how evil Israel is, that kind of nonsense. So I think, so that was done about March or April of 2024. That led to a pretty good article by some friends of mine, Dumasani Washington and Karis Ray, in the Tablet magazine. Just type in Tablet magazine Tucker and the Arsonist, and you'll come up with their article. Very good masterclass in how to understand what Tucker Carlson is doing in the way he asks questions, because he's not trying to drive at a truth. He's trying to set his own agenda.
And so the thing of it is, he's even, been on shows like Alex Jones, and Alex Jones has even come out hard against Israel.
Yeah, so I've always had my suspicions about Alex. He does kind of blow hot and cold, but mostly not the right direction on Israel from my standpoint. There was a big conference in Moscow last fall. It was called Future Forum 2025. If you go to archive.org, you can find some of the materials and speaker lists that were done. And it was a bunch of radical leftists, globalists, people who were followers of a Russian philosopher king named Alexander Dugin. And they're designing all of this to tear apart the right wing in America so they can't get elected to power. And I'll be honest with you, it seems to be working. It's pretty effective. So they have people that they sort of radicalize to be anti-Israel on many different levels. So that's a complete psychological operation. And I'm sure if you went to, those websites where you can upload your routes and where you stay and everything, a couple more people do it here, somebody might get some free shoes or something, because I don't know. I just see that Tucker is very good at organizing himself, and it's hard for us to respond in kind. because he's so prolific and he knows his own agenda. And sometimes he's just coy enough that it's kind of ambiguous. So he's a bad guy.
Yeah. So let me ask you, would you say that he was paid to do this propaganda?
So my understanding is Tucker is very independently wealthy, comes from a wealthy family, owned a lot of land out west, out in California. So I don't think he needs to work. I don't think he needs to do it for the money. I don't know if he's monetizing it or not. I'll never be on his program. I know that, so I don't really care about it. But he puts up this garbage and he gets millions of views every time.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is to get views on social media and different platforms and everything. You can work at it for years before you finally break through. And he came out a couple of years ago and started out right at the top.
Right. Just like I took Irandis away from Candace since Iran's getting pummeled right now. I called her Hill on Owens now. Man, and she has a huge following now because
we're off the Christmas party list now, I guess.
Yeah.
Candace and Owens and George Farmer Christmas party.
Yeah. Out in Tennessee.
Well, wherever they live. I mean, what Bride of Chucky moment there. You know? I'm sorry. I cannot stand that person.
Me neither.
And I see clips of her all the time. I just don't bother listening to them anymore because it's just such a distressing thing. And then, you have other people on the right who we thought were on the right in America. They're going the same way, like Megyn Kelly. I wanted to go back to Alex Jones. So they have this Future Forum conference in Moscow to promote the Russian agenda. Moscow, to them, because the Russian Orthodox Church, their view is that Moscow is the third Rome. There's Rome 1, Rome 2. Now this is the third Rome, and it's going to rise to international hegemonic prominence.
Right.
And it's a religious mission. So they have a guy named Alexander Dugin, who's a philosopher behind a lot of this. And so here's the speaker list at the 2050 Future Forum, or Future Forum 2050. You've got Jeffrey Sachs, who's a rabid Jew hater.
Yes, big time.
You've got other people that they're bringing in. There are a bunch of Russian guys. There's some other Americans. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they're just not good people. And they're bringing these people in to really destroy America and destroy the Judeo-Christian things. So another guy on the speaker list was a guy named George Galloway, who's a radical left-wing member of parliament from the UK. And then another person that's on the list was Alex Jones to speak at that conference. And I think one of the Trump boys was on the list as well. So that's a problem. That they're inviting those guys to come and to do something that's very, very much not good.
Yeah. And it's so funny when I started looking into the whole thing with InfoWars, a lot of those guys that host shows over there are a bunch of Israel haters, like Maria Z for one, and what is the guy's name? Harrison Smith and Owen Schroyer. Yeah. Those guys they're
part of the Jew-hating ecosystem. So there's a lady I've been following on X for a while named her account name is Insurrection Barbie. I think it's one of the best account names ever. And she says she's an evangelical. She's got a couple kids. She's pretty anonymous because she gets hate mail like nobody I've ever seen. And so, I post her stuff is very good on Alexander Dugin and Russia and the psychological operation that's underway. And so I posted it, and people immediately, they start citing articles. Oh, she's a convicted felon. She's no good. She's a lousy person. But one, I haven't found any evidence of that because they make the allegations, but they never prove it.
Right.
At least that I've seen. Okay, so I
Mhm.
may be missing it. That's fine. I miss things, but she's and so people say, well, she's not a good person. You should listen to a thing you say. And I just find that to be a very shallow, vapid response from people. Since I mean, we're people of grace. If somebody did something inappropriate and they've repented of it,
Mhm.
who are we to say? And the other thing is, deal with the issues she raises in the papers she writes and posts,
Mhm.
because we live at a time where we have to be very aware of these things.
Mhm.
So I would watch her. I mean, she will get you some things that are good. She will get you, to if you're just using a phone to record yourself, she'll set it up so you get good camera optics and that type of thing. You can do that remotely on the round table talk or whatever it's called,
Mhm.
what she's set up. So anyway,
Yeah, yeah. I've actually went to her account and I said, "Wow, John, she does put out good stuff." And
and a lot of it, I don't know how she does it.
mhm.
Some people think it's a Defense Department cyber op, but I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't really care. I care more about the substance of what the person is putting out necessarily than the
Mhm.
fine details of their existence.
Well, you know what? You were an attorney, so you do know how to research things to see if people are vetted.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of these folks are saying, "Oh, she's terrible." Well, where are your receipts to prove that she's terrible?
Right. They make the allegations, but I don't see. They say she was convicted of fraud. Well, okay, so a conviction for fraud or bribery or embezzlement or whatever
Mm-hmm.
is a public record document. Go get the document and show us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And nobody ever does that. And so I think it's a lot of smoke. And one of the persons making these claims, I'll probably get in trouble with friends, is a lady that works for Lindell TV, named Emerald Robinson.
Oh.
And she does some horrible propaganda type work.
Mm-hmm.
At least right now, it's showing like on like the men's room the bathrooms here at the church. She's not using the bathroom, but it may be that she's already come in and got on the list where you can track her and see what she's doing vis-a-vis the anti-Israel Jew haters.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeffrey Sachs is on that list of Moscow Future Forum. George Galloway, a member of parliament from the UK, who's a radical leftist, and some others.
Mm-hmm.
And some, I think I was in. They sort of did an online virtual conference, sort of like is being done here in Las Vegas. And so people that might live in California are on the virtual conference call that's taking place.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'd have to check my phone to see if
Mm-hmm.
they were able to create, similar social media tools for people who want to oppose what Tucker's doing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Tucker and Ilon Owens crowd had a field day. What would happen near the wall in Israel?
Hey.
Yeah.
Is this where the Handel's ice cream chocolate malts are going to be delivered?
Oh, we need to get that. We need to get that taken care of. Yes. Somebody get on that Handel's ice cream
Yeah,
thing?
somebody do an Uber over and
Yeah.
a chocolate malt, no whipped topping.
Yes.
I'm trying to maintain my boyish figure.
Yes. So if you can get a couple of those over here for us, if you're in the Las Vegas area, that would be great.
Yeah, there's the Handel's about 2.5, maybe 3 miles away from the church. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very convenient. And look, if you're down gambling, you shouldn't be doing that. So get in your car and get up here and get us those malts.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, stop gambling and bring us a couple of those malts from Handel's. Yeah.
Serve the Lord today
Yes.
by helping your poor fellow men who are wasting away here without chocolate
Yeah.
malts on a very hot day in Las Vegas.
Serving the Lord by bringing us malts today. But yeah, John, it's crazy that some people are starting to say, "Oh, that was a red flag by Israel."
Oh, yeah, false flag, false
Mhm.
flag.
False flag, false flag.
Yeah, missile, a big. When they shoot down these missiles,
Mm-hmm.
they don't vaporize them. The missiles break apart,
Mm-hmm.
and so big chunks of missiles will fall in different places in Israel or Jordan or wherever the missiles intercepted.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like last year, there was in some of the exchanges between Israel and Iran, one Israeli was killed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a guy who was walking in a field someplace away from everything else, and the missile fell on his head and hit him and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a big fragment of a missile that came down with its explosive warhead intact, and it hit an area of the wall of the Jewish quarter of the old city, probably 600-700 feet or so from the Al-Aqsa Mosque
Mm-hmm.
on the Temple Mount. So a very important holy place for Muslims, allegedly.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
say allegedly because the people have looked into the claims that there was a mosque on the Temple Mount. There's a huge problem with the mosque.
Mm-hmm.
So mosques have a section in them called the Qibla. In the Qibla, when you orient yourself the right way to the Qibla inside a mosque, you're pointing supposedly directly at Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of the early mosques have a problem. They don't point to Mecca. That would be mosque up in Damascus and Syria and Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
And the one on the Temple Mount in Israel does not point to Lebanon. It points to Petra in Jordan.
Right.
So there's a lot of questions whether the pagan worship of Petra got ported over to Islamic worship.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good evidence that was the case.
Yeah. 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 Big time. John, and you've been to Israel quite a few times.
Enough, but not enough.
Yeah. Right.
I still haven't played golf in Israel.
Mm-hmm. And I know you told me that I'm gonna have to take one of those tours with you to Israel.
Yeah.
Because I think it's vital that people that don't really know the logistics and everything about Israel, I think you need to go there and be there head on first.
Yeah, I mean, look, you will. I can't think of any trip I've made to Israel that was not incredibly moving in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was my first trip in 1995 till the trips I took last fall in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So over that 30 years, I pretty much remember everything we did.
Yes.
Because it's significant. And the Bible is a down to earth book. It's about a people and a land.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're in the land, you can understand a lot about the people of the book and some of the analogies and things that are used, the agricultural, the rain season, the feast cycles. The feast, by the way, the feasts are the feasts of the Lord, not the feasts of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
They were given to Israel, but they're the feasts of the Lord. So they're instructive for all of us to learn aspects about the Lord's dealing with those people and how we should understand things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very important for people to go. I'll be going again in September, October this year, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trips are being canceled, of course, right now, left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I know Pastor Kurt Reed here had a trip
in April.
Yeah, and he just got a notice that the flight was canceled.
Mm.
So it's going to take a while for the system to get cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
This thing in Iran could go on for a while. A commentator was saying today that it seems like every 2 or 3 days they've extended this war by 2 or 3 weeks.
Yikes!
It's a much more difficult operation than we understood.
Mm-hmm.
I think the military and administration people involved in it, they understood it.
Mm-hmm.
But that it's kind of an interesting thing to watch because deception and that type of thing is part of the art of war, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So So here you have this situation where everybody expects the president and Bibi Netanyahu to release detailed plans as to where they're going to go and when. And that's like, I mean, you want to get people killed. That's the way to get them killed. Let everybody know that they're coming. And it sort of just shows the insanity of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the answer to our question is, well, Mr. President, why are you doing this? And maybe the answer is, it's just none of your business right now. Eventually, we'll explain it to you. If you still have a job at your miserable newspaper. Somebody asked Trump a 12th question yesterday on the plane, and the response was, You're not a very nice person, and you work for a miserable organization. Next. I mean, you can criticize Trump on a lot of levels, but the way he sort of conducts his news conferences, press briefings,
I love him.
There's a certain So I played a clip of him with Netanyahu talking about Erdogan and Syria Erdogan and Turkey being the real leads to take over Syria. So Erdogan was in the White House, and Trump, right there in front of all the world press, he's trolling Erdogan of Turkey. He says, that was pretty cool how you took over Turkey. That was pretty clever. We all know you're going to deny it, but we know what you did. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah.
We're watching. And so it's kind of funny that and then who did he have in the office the other day? Oh, the Prime Minister of Japan.
Oh, that was good.
And it was sort of like, sometimes you don't tell people in advance. You got to do a sneak attack. And you, of all people, Prime Minister of Japan, you would know about a sneak attack the way you attacked us at Pearl Harbor. and I think she did. I don't think she knew what to do to respond. And it's sort of like,
And, by me being a part of the media, I kind of like when he does those surprise moments on people.
Yeah.
I think it's great to throw them off their game.
Well, I remember that one time he was sort of like he was being interviewed by Larry King. You remember this?
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, man, you got bad breath.
Oh, yeah. He told Larry King that. That was hilarious.
And people are going, you don't say that to people. Well, how are they going to know they have bad breath unless you tell them? They're obviously not noticing it right now.
So let me ask you this. Since this is his last presidency,
we think, right?
Yeah, we think, because there could be a third term. Steve Bannon mentioned it. Remember?
Yeah, I think Steve Bannon is a part of the problem now.
Yes, he's another Jew hater.
So here's where I went to law school. There's a student, a U.S. university trained a group funding Hamas. It was not a student group; it was an official university program at Indiana University, one of the places I went and got educated, educated, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
I'm
glad handles.
No, they created an organization that helps Hamas.
Wow.
They funded it at the university level. I'm glad now. When I went to law school at IU, I was married. My dad was a disabled vet from World War II, but I never considered him disabled. He was injured in Belgium around the time of the Battle of the Bulge. He had gone in through Normandy. I just found out last year. And so, they had a program in Indiana called Childhood Disabled Vet Award. So you could use it for up to 4 full years, 8 semesters, full time,
right,
at a state-funded institution. So I went to law school at IU, funded by the state. Pam and I were married, and even though my dad lived in Pennsylvania, if I was an Indiana resident, I qualified for the program. So I got my paperwork done. My first semester at IU cost me $5 a credit hour. That's a pretty good bargain.
Wow.
My second semester, same thing. My second and third year of law school, tuition did go up extensively, but they raised the benefits, and I paid $4.60 a credit hour. So 3 years of law school at a pretty good law school cost me $420 tuition.
Wow.
It was not a bad. I got a long career out of that investment, and I was able to graduate debt free. That was even a bigger blessing. So my wife used to, back in those days, Vinny, I don't know if you've met her or not, but she used to introduce me as, this is my husband, John. He's in law school, and I'm looking forward to him graduating and supporting me in a manner to which I have not yet become accustomed, but I'm willing to adjust to.
Oh, my.
So, and she worked hard. I was working a couple jobs in law school and graduate school, and so it's what you had to do to make it to get through law school.
Yeah. Unfortunately, today, this generation, they think things are handed to you.
Yeah, but I was playing golf when I was in California last week at Oak Quarry over in Riverside. Great golf course.
Yes, it is nice.
We played with two guys who played football for one of the Claremont colleges. So I asked them, if you weren't getting money, some scholarship money from football to help towards your college education, how much would it cost you each year for tuition, room, and board? What do you think?
About $40,000.
$80,000.
Wow.
That's $320,000 for a person. I had a partner in one of our Carolina offices, and he had his daughter had a scholarship to North Carolina to run track, full ride. But she said, "Well, I want to visit one of the Ivy League schools," so they went to Dartmouth. She fell in love with the place. They don't give any student aid money or scholarships for athletics. And then her brother decided he liked it. So for 2 years, he had two kids in college, each one of which was costing $78,000 a year tuition. No financial aid or anything.
Wow.
That's $156,000 a year to send your kids to college.
Yeah.
That's insane. And here I paid $420 for all 3 years at IU. So look, it was a good program. My sister, she was in education. She's one of the top administrators of Indianapolis public schools before she retired. And she went and got a couple master's degrees using the same benefits. And she was 6 years older than I am. It was really sort of one of the most amazing benefits. And because I'd gone to private college, I didn't have to use it. I didn't use it in undergrad, so I had the 4 full years to use it going to graduate to law school program.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
John, I have a friend that I went to school with, and she's like, "Oh, I want to do what you're doing. I want to go into the radio field." I said, "Cool, get an internship at a radio station and get mentored."
Yep.
She goes, "No, I'm going to go to college for it at UCLA." Well, $230,000 later, she couldn't even get a job in radio.
Really?
Yeah.
One of the things I did was, there's pressure in law school to not work outside the law school. And mainly it's to make the teachers feel better about themselves, that the way they're educating us is so difficult. Nobody would be able to work because of the fantastic education they're getting.
Right.
And it's sort of like, mind your own business. I got a wife to support, and I'm going to work when I can work. And so it's, well, anyway, I worked except my first year. I didn't work my first year. My outlet was down the street from our apartment. There was an Indianapolis municipal 9-hole golf course. And the greens fees were $3. It was a 9-hole course. It was $3 for 9 holes and $4.50 for 18. So even a poor law student can afford that. and it was a public course.
Mhm.
You can always tell the quality of the course by the dress code.
Mhm.
So I work at a private country club in my retirement,
Mhm.
and they have a dress code: shirts with a collar, shorts of a certain length,
Mhm.
can't be denim. And the rules at the Indianapolis municipal golf courses were shoes and shirts must be worn in the clubhouse.
Oh my.
So you could go out and play in a pair of athletic shorts and your bare feet. Don't you dare walk into to the clubhouse without a shirt on.
Mm.
And so that sort of indicated that was a real true public golf course. The dress code was very low standards.
Yeah. And, you know, to be a part of a golf country club is really expensive.
It depends on the club. I mean, the club that I work at, people do pay money to join. But I was talking to somebody about a course near us that's a little bit, because the people that belong there consider it more prestigious than the course that I work at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like an $80,000 initiation fee and then like $700 a month. And if you only get to play golf 4 times a month, you know, you factor out the cost of your membership,
$175 a round,
at least that, and you can go a lot of places in America and play golf for a lot less than $175 a round. You get to play at different courses, but I understand people want the sense of belonging that comes from a private country club. So look, it's close to the house, and I can go play a few days a week, and no problem.
We're gonna film a viral video of me of hitting the iron at least 150 yards.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be like one of the golf girls that has those viral videos that go.
No.
What's her name? Paige something.
Oh gosh, I know who you're talking about, and she always makes a statement before she goes for her shot.
To tell you how wonderful she is, and I'm wearing the latest clothes from. You know, I have an Under Armour shirt on. If anybody wants to try to get a discount for that, I saw John Haller in an Under Armour shirt. Well, that's not going to get you anything. That and the price of the Under Armour shirt will get you an Under Armour shirt.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they make my hats and clothes.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Well, so like Jordan Spieth, golf. I mean, he hasn't really won anything, but he won the Masters and the U.S. Open about 10 years ago. Under Armour came, they gave him a 10-year contract where he was getting at least $250 million. So I shouldn't say his name. He lives close to us, professional golfer.
Oh, okay.
And he actually I think he belongs at the club that I work at. He shows up a few times a year. Nice guy. But my understanding is he probably brings in $25 to $30 million a year in endorsements. You know, so when you make that kind of money, your life is a little bit different than somebody who's not making that kind of money.
Like us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here. Don't forget to drop your check in my wallet here before I leave.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
As soon as you get yours, I'll get mine. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny because people think, "Oh man, you're on YouTube and you get a lot of views, and you must be really." No, we don't monetize our channel.
No, neither do I.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't make a lot of money, guys.
Somehow, I think our Rumble channel is monetized whether we want it or not.
No.
But I checked recently, we have like $50 after 5 years.
Oh, okay. So you got your $2.50 every 2 months, right?
Yeah, no, it's $50 total after being on there for 7-8 years.
Wow, really?
So let's see, 784 divided $5 divided $50 divided by 84. I don't think we're making much money at it.
No, just a couple bucks a year.
And the price of food now, you can't even go to In-N-Out for that $50. I was by some guys the other night here in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
My flight got in. I was hungry. I hadn't had dinner, so I stopped at an In-N-Out. The guys in front of me, they're these young, athletic-looking guys. They're getting like 3x3s, two of them, and double fries and giant drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's three of them, and they pay like, I don't know, it was like $50 to eat at In-N-Out on a Thursday night.
Oh my!
I know.
Holy smokes!
I know. It's,
Must be. Yeah, they don't realize that years later that's going to catch up to them.
yeah, is the gal who owns In-N-Out? Is she married?
Yes,
Not that I'm interested.
She's married to a Formula One driver.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah, and he's a believer also.
Well, he should be. He's married to a billionaire.
Yeah, and he's not so bad off himself.
Isn't it something like Snyder?
Snyder, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and you know they tried to get her to take the Bible verses off of the products.
Yeah, she told him to.
Yeah.
Well, do something with the cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Figuratively speaking.
Yes, good on her. Good on her.
Yeah, I mean, she should have done that. It's her business.
Mm-hmm.
Always cracks me up. Like, you know, when you're on the internet, I'm sure you get those people say, well, you should do this.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes my response is, I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your advice, and maybe you should get your own YouTube channel.
That's always good advice.
It's not as easy. You know, that it's not as easy as it looks, right?
No.
Especially when you're doing live and you got to manage everything and you got the soundboard there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I do those roundtables with 5 people, including myself, and I got to make sure this person's, you know, this picture gets up or that person's highlighted and that. And my moderators were on vacation last week for the Technocracy Roundtable, so they were saying, "Well, we'd like to see the individual speakers, please." Okay, when can we go through your training to be a volunteer for our
Yeah,
channel?
Yeah, exactly. Or have you ever gotten the comment? Well, it was kind of rude because you weren't paying attention to your guest. I've gotten that a few times.
So I'm a one-man band. Okay,
Same here. Yeah,
I don't have employees. I'm not an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will. So I'll schedule a YouTube interview with somebody. And because I'm doing it live, sometimes I'll invite somebody else to sit in case something goes wrong with the YouTube. I can work on that while the person, because I don't want to waste the time of the person I'm interviewing by trying to correct any problems.
Yes.
So one time I did an interview of someone, a mutual friend, and I asked a friend to sit in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started the interview, and the person said, well, I can really only give you 30 minutes today. So my other friend said, I'm not going to ask anything, you know, because I know you have a bunch of questions to ask. Well, you wouldn't believe how rude people were like, well, you made that friend of yours sit there and not ask a question. You're a control freak. And I'm like, how did you like the price? You know, I mean, I understand people get upset, but why do you think you have to make that comment? Okay, I know I ask all the questions. I was there. I was paying attention. So, you know, thank you for, I guess, blessing us with that comment that doesn't really make any sense. And I don't mind that people comment. It's just like I don't go around making those comments on other people's YouTube channels just because I don't like the way they dress. Your lighting wasn't that good.
Your camera was terrible.
Your mic crackled a little. And it's the streaming is a lot better now than it used to be. You know that. It used to be you would hit live and you would sort of be sitting there praying that something came out on the other end.
Yeah.
And but I think people like live. I think they like the interaction that takes place.
Yeah, they really do. And you know, those Technocracy roundtables are not easy to run when you're running the whole, you know, thing yourself.
Yeah. Now, in fact, one of my moderators is here. I got to meet her the other day. And
Stacy?
Yes,
she's my moderator as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she does she and some of the people she's helped gather do a great job. This week was harder, though, because I mean, she said she took a vacation or something. Who said she got to take a vacation?
Yeah, you get a
And then
paid vacation.
all the other moderators went away. I guess it's spring break.
Yeah.
And teach your kids to travel on their own. It'll help their character. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I said, yeah, you got a raise 0.
We doubled your pay.
Yeah, doubled it. Yeah, that's it.
2 times 0 is still 0.
Yeah, it still equals 0, unfortunately. You know.
No, but I was glad to meet her because in face to face finally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so weird is you live in this online world. But I noticed this with clients, with telephones and everything. I had a case that lasted almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who ended up as the CEO of the company was in prep school. Like he was a senior in high school when I started working on the case. Then his father died, and he and his brother took over the company. So he's this young guy. So we had a case. We finally went to trial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever told you this story.
No.
So this is John Heller war story. So we're in trial, and it was a dispute over a franchise agreement. So the wording in the contract said that I represented the company. The franchisee had the sole and exclusive right of franchise in this territory, defined by telephone area codes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got complicated because, well, these area codes have split into multiple numbers, and you don't have any clients in this section. And it's like, how do you do that? So we had a dispute. We went to trial, and they have this blow-up board of the contract language, sole and exclusive right of franchise, sole, S-O-L-E, right?
Yeah.
So my client was on the stand. He's so nervous. He's sweating bullets. And the attorney for the plaintiff goes, "Sir, what does the word soul mean to you?"
Mm.
And he didn't answer right away. He kind of scrunched up his face. And it's like on a board right to his left. Okay.
Oh, no.
And so what did he say? Essence of being? No, at least it was better. That's some kind of fish, right? Dover sole. No, and it was like he was like the judge is up there, hiding his face behind his hands to keep from laughing.
Right.
It's there are those moments in the courtroom. I should write a book.
Yeah. Kind of like some Perry Mason episodes, huh?
Well, not. I had a case once involving a construction project, and the guy who was doing he was the construction manager, and some really serious mistakes were made. The plan said do it this way. They didn't do it that way. So he's on the stand testifying, and we've taken his deposition before trial. And my colleague was doing the examination. He hands him some construction reports. What they were doing and how they, who was doing work and how much to bill the client. And he goes, "Well, I forgot my glasses. I can't read that." And he kept making these excuses. And I said to my colleague, I said, "Take a break because the guy can't read. He's smart. He's a functional illiterate, but the mistakes were made because he forgot what he had memorized. He had somebody read him the plans and he memorized everything. So the guy was actually pretty brilliant, but he made a mistake and we shouldn't have to pay for that." So during the lunch break, there was a mall in downtown Columbus. So we walked over to the mall to Brookstone and I bought a magnifying glass and I brought it back and he said, "I can't really read that." So we handed him the magnifying glass, and here, maybe this will help you. And when we handed him the magnifying glass, it was so funny to watch the judge. He was an older guy, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, this guy can't read." And it was kind of an interesting thing. And my colleague had taken his deposition, and I was there, and we never figured it out. And then we're in the courtroom, and it's like, wait a minute, the mistake was made because the guy can't read.
Oh no!
It was just very weird to figure out.
Yeah, kind of sad that the guy couldn't read.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy was he would memorize. The way I figured it out was that his ex-wife was in the courtroom every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know. And then he would go down and spend the weekend with her doing his reports on the weekend. She was doing his reports.
Oh,
And so she was helping him get through his inability to read or write. But what I'm saying is the guy was brilliant and everything, but we shouldn't have to pay for the big mistake that he made.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix.
Ouch.
But so anyway, but it was one of those weird moments you get in the courtroom every day. And I'm like, why is this guy not able to read the plans?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, because he can't read. He memorized them, and then he just made a mental error, got a couple numbers transposed, and it's sort of like you can miss a putt by a quarter of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hit it too hard, it goes 8 feet by. You can miss a putt by a half inch, but if it stops by the hole, you only have a half inch putt to make.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss it close but too far, you may not make that putt coming back. So I think I don't know. I'm sure there's a business principle in there. Maybe smarter people in the audience can figure out and can translate what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John, remember that article I sent you? Speaking of can't read, 130 million Americans can't even read past a brown paper bag. That's pretty terrible.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there's. It brings to mind some jokes I've heard, but they're probably not appropriate because they relate to the color of women's hair. So, probably not best to bring those up.
Yeah.
Even though they're true.
And I don't want to get any tomatoes thrown at us.
Right.
Oh, man, John, we always have a great time talking.
It is. Great to be with you.
We need to have an episode called Law War Stories.
Well, I don't know if I could say this since it's kind of a Christian channel, but my secretary used to tell me, because I have a lot of weird things happen to me when I'm traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I won the American Bar Association, did a thing for the worst travel horror story, and they had like 15,000 entrants, and I won the worst travel horror story.
Oh, wow.
And my secretary said, I'll just say, she said the title of your biography should be Garbage That Happens to Me, and I Still Lived. She would say stuff like, how you survive one trip to the next is beyond my comprehension.
On that note,
she was such a supportive individual.
Yeah, I could tell. On that note, we need to have some handles. Ice cream.
I know. I fear my blood sugar is crashing, and you don't want to be doing,
Yeah.
You probably have to pick me up with the jaws of life or something.
Yeah. And if you see the both of us drop off here, you know why.
If we just sort of slide down into our chairs.
Yeah.
I actually have to go do a panel in about
15 minutes, right?
9 minutes, yeah.
Oh, it's 9 minutes. Wow. All right, guys. The great John Holler.
Thank you, Ben.
Would you mind praying us out, my brother?
Sure. Lord, thanks for this great day, Lord. As we've talked about at this conference, this is a very difficult, disconcerting time in which to live. Pray that you will fill us with your Holy Spirit, give us wisdom, guidance, help us keep us in the Word of God, so we will have that supreme wisdom and knowledge to draw on, and bless us in this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Love you guys. See you in a little while. If I don't, we will see you first thing tomorrow morning. Yes, it's going to be a marathon Sunday. And I think you're speaking early in the morning, too.
I think so.
Yeah, at first service. That's going to be awesome. So fasten your seatbelts, folks, because we're going to have a good finish to the weekend. God bless. Don't let the government be your daddy. You are self-governed.
Podc Radio.